And we want to thank you all for being here. It's our 10th anniversary of the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame. At this point in time, I'm going to ask everybody to please stand up so that we can do the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing as we give a moment of silence for our brethren that we have lost in the last year.
Rose Zancuccio,
Stanley Golden,
Stanley Mikos,
that's Hall of Famer Stanley Mikos, Hall of Famer Roy Kubisak,
Randy Zinnia,
Joan Nasarino,
Ed Wallace,
and Murray Goldstein. Please, a moment of silence for them. Okay, thank you very much. At this point, while you're still standing, please, on behalf of the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame, we want to propose a toast to all of us that are with us tonight. We wish everybody health, wealth, happiness, most importantly, time. Okay, you can now seat me. Thank you so much. You know, it's a very funny thing. I've been doing this forever, it seems, between the bowling club and my wrestling and my singles classic, and 10 years of this. But every year when I get up here, I'm very nervous at first, but it seems to work its way out as we progress. So we want to extend a hearty greeting to everybody here in this our 10th annual event. Welcome to the Staten Rest and our 10th anniversary of the Staten Island Bowling Club. We have a terrific list of candidates being inducted today. They've worked hard to get to where they are, and we have a very special inductee that will be re-inducted in a very few short minutes. But okay, we're ready to start the program, so if I can have everybody's attention, we'll get it going. We want to start by telling everybody the purpose of our Hall of Fame. We have three purposes. We want to preserve the past. We want to remember all the pioneers of our great game of bowling, all their contributions, the Peggy Garbarinos, the Gloria Simonsons, the Benny McNeviches, and certainly the Rab Wilkinsons. These people, their memory will be etched with us forever, and because of people like that, our Hall of Fame will prevail forever. We want to protect the present. We want to pay tribute to all the current bowlers that we have there who are now making contributions to our game of bowling. We want to honor them and make sure that they are remembered for time to come. And most importantly, we want to promote the future. We want to keep the game alive for our children and our children's children. You know, bowling is the greatest game in the world. It's a game that has no prejudices. It doesn't care if you're fat, skinny, small, tall, lefty, righty, black, white. It doesn't care if you're the mayor of the good city. It doesn't care if you're the youngster flipping burgers at the local Mickey D's. The game loves everybody. You have to get out of the game what the game gives back to you. There are no dress codes in bowling. There are no life experiences that you have to share in bowling. You just have to show up, be ready to bowl, and enjoy the game, and get out of the game what the game gives to you. One of the things I've always enjoyed being in bowling for primarily my entire life, I've always enjoyed watching people grow up. Watching how they grow, not only as bowlers, but more importantly as people. How they learn from their experiences, how they learn to cope with adversity when they miss a 10 pin that costs the game. And how gracious they become in losing, because anybody can win. It's how you lose. And that's what we hope you learn from bowling. Bowling is a generational thing. It's passed on from family to family. Ray Larson bowls, Ray Larson passes it on to his son Ray. Naz passes it on to her daughters. So there's a quality of life that comes with the great game of bowling. It's not always about winning and about losing. It's quality time for fathers and sons, mothers and daughters. It's meeting new friends, being with who you want to be with, making new friends, enjoying your time with them, whether it's social, and in some cases, whether it's serious. Serious bowlers, of course, take the game a little more serious. They put more time into the game. But basically, it's a social activity, and it's about friendly competition, friendly adversaries. There's a little joke I'd like to tell you that I heard just the other night over at Maple Lanes. We were talking to George Sabatino in the pro shop, and he says to me, he says, yeah, a guy walks into my pro shop, and he wants to buy a bowling ball. So Sabat says, well, what kind of ball are you looking for? So the guy says, I really don't care. I just wanted to get me out of the house on Friday night. So that's your social bowler that just wants to bowl once a week, bowl 3 games with his buddies and enjoy the game. Okay? So now, let me take some time to introduce the terrific people on the Hall of Fame committee that make this all possible so that we all can be here and enjoy the night. And it's great to see everybody. This is like a homecoming. You get to see everybody once a year, and it's a wonderful thing. And thankfully everybody is well from year to year, and you can always share this memory as you progress. And the first one I'd like to introduce is our newest member of our Hall of Fame committee. We are absolutely delighted to have her on the board. Her insight, experience, enthusiasm, and expertise, she's also a member of the Hall of Fame, makes her a more than welcome committee to a Hall of Fame committee, Lou Vigliotti. Where is Lou? Oh, over there, way over in the corner. And I introduce this next person, and I give her the same moniker every single year for 10 years. And I tell you the same story about her every year for 10 years. How we graduated Port Richmond High School together in 1966. How she was hot as a cheerleader for Port Richmond, then Minstrels, now Red Raiders. She's still hot, you know, but this is 40 years later. I call her the enforcer because she's the one that makes everything get done. She makes sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted so that everything goes off well on this night with very little flaws other than the ones I create myself. She has a 50-year love affair with the great game of bowling. And you know what, Donna? Bowling loves you right back. Because you're so dedicated, you're so devoted, and you're so diligent to make sure everything gets done. I'm so proud to be on a committee with you, Donna Zajac. Now, the next man I'm going to ask to come up and say a few words, and for anybody that doesn't know him, in a bowling circle, in the bowling wars, had to have been under a rock. He is our vice president. And I have to tell you, I've known him for a long, long period of time. We go back a lot of years to Knotty Pine, the old Columbian lanes. We bowled a lot together, won some, lost some together. But through the years, he's been a really, really good friend. He's relentless, and he's tireless, he's full of energy. And in his quest to have everything done that the best it can be, he's imaginative, creative, and he's innovative. And he's all about commitment. And that ensures that everything will be done to the best of his ability. Please give it up for our Vice President, John Chico Edichico.
Thank you very much, Johnny Walters. I just want to say hello to everybody tonight, and thank you so much for coming and participating in this event. You know, we work on this basically 365 days a year. The committee's always talking. We call each other. We try to make sure that the people that we present before everyone here is deserving of the awards and the honors that They bring it, and just with this, the outpouring of support and everything that we have tonight is really fantastic. I just want to give a little background. I came on board with this quite a few years back. Rab Wilkinson, one of my best friends and dear friends in the entire world. I've known Rab over 40 years. Rab basically got me into the game of bowling at a higher level than I was used to when I was much younger. And I just want to say hello to his family, thank them for coming here. Dee Wilkinson, give a round of applause, please. I mean, I consider the Wilkinson family the first family of bowling on Staten Island. Rab was a great bowler, a great champion, one of the greatest guys in the world, a dear friend of mine. Never said no to anyone for anything they ever needed. Stuff went on behind the scenes that you shake your head at. If you knew some of the things I know went on, you would say one of the greatest guys in the world, and we all know that. And I feel really sad that he's not with us right now, but he's down up there watching, and I know he's got a smile on his face, and I just wanted to tell the family I miss him very much. Along with Dee Wilkinson is their son Anthony, Thomas, and Frankie. Stand up, please. Very involved in running bowling on Staten Island. Frankie and Tommy and Dee, run country lanes now. And I'm going to tell you something right now. I've been working in the bowling business since 1968. I worked at Columbian Lanes, I worked at Bowling on the Green, and I work at Country Lanes presently. And let me tell you something. It is the finest run facility anywhere. I've been all over this country, and the things that go on down there, everyone should be proud on Staten Island, just be part of it. And I know most of the people are from there, and we also have another bowling center, Showplace Lanes, but I'm telling you right now, the class of Staten Island is Rab's Country Lanes. Let's have a round of applause for that, please. I don't want to stay up here and too much longer, but I just want to thank John Petravia for making this evening. John was supposed to attend the dinner last year, and I ran into him down at Caroline Lanes, and we were just talking about things that went on in the past. And I had mentioned to him about last year's dinner, about we were going to honor Reb and all that. And the first thing he said to me is, "John, I'm on board." And then unfortunately, at the 11th hour, he got called away for his job with that he represents, and he had to be out of town, so he was unable to make last year's dinner. So I really want to tell him I'm very proud that he made it. He's been so busy. I mean, the amount of miles he's logged on his car in the last week, you don't even want to know. But I just wanted to extend my congratulations to John. Thank you so much for attending tonight's event. Thank you. All right, so moving right along, we're going to show a tape of Amos and Andy now for the next half hour. So I'm just kidding. I got a couple of smiles out of people. I like that. All right, I believe that they're giving out the pasta right now. And excuse me, wait, can I have a different one? I don't like that. Could you give me like tortellini instead? No tortellini? How about vodka sauce? You got no vodka sauce either? Oh, okay. I'm in. All right. Everyone enjoy, and I'm going to turn it back over to Donnie Walton now. Thank you very much.
Okay, we got a few more committee members that we want to make mention of. Sadly enough, Mr. Consistency on our Hall of Fame committee cannot be here tonight. Everybody, of course, knows Dom Labargo, Joe's father. He's convalescing in Clover Lake Nursing Home. He's coming along. He's improving. He was always a historian in our group, and his great love of game, he always reminds us what the great game is supposed to be all about. So we all miss him dearly. Our thoughts, and I know I speak for everybody here, I know our thoughts are with him, and hoping that he has a speedy recovery. And the other member that is not with us tonight, we just dubbed him last Saturday at our meeting, at our final meeting, we dubbed him the official coffee maker. And that was Chuck Curiazza. And Chucky, unfortunately, is in the hospital also. He's having some heart problems. And he's a doer. He's always given to the game he loves. And he was inducted into the Hall of Fame this last year, and he does everything he can to help promote the game. And he does for the game what it does for him. So we're very, very glad to have him on board also. And now we have one final member to introduce, and we're doing him last for a reason. Now he's a tireless worker. He's full of energy. He has total dedication to what he does and how he goes about doing it. Endless phone calls, 365 days a year, 24 hours a day because of the different time zones throughout the United States. He's on a computer endlessly. He's on the phone when he's not on a computer. Tomorrow morning he'll be doing that again to get us set up for next year. So I'm going to bring Joe Labargo up, and Joe's going to tell you how the Hall of Fame got started 10 short years ago. Joe Labargo.
Thank you, everybody, and I'm glad everybody's here and enjoying themselves. It was back in the spring of 2000 when Colonial Lanes was closing. Donnie was working there at the time, and he asked me to come down. He said, I'm going to throw the last ball there. He says, I want you to come down and watch and hang around a little bit. And as we were there, a gentleman walked in, kind of shafty looking, and he picked up a box from Dennis. We started talking, and it turned out this guy, Tommy D, his name was, and it was at that time that the groundwork was laid for the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame. Over the next few weeks, between Donnie and myself and Tommy, we gathered some of the prominent people in bowling on Staten Island. The late Benny McNevich, my father Dom, Gloria Simonson, the late Gloria Simonson, Ray and Naz Larson. And of course, there was one gentleman that we all knew we had to ask before anybody else. There's no way anything could have got done without that, of course, is Rab Wilkinson. We met at the Lane Theater one night in September, and we came up with a list of 46 people that were the genesis of the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame. I'd like at this time to have all of the original 46 who are in attendance to stand and take a bow. Eddie Wilkinson. Ray Larson. Nazareth Larson. Donna Zajac. Donnie Walters. And of course, everybody's friend, Gene George. There's one gentleman here. He was inducted into the hall that very night, back in November of 2000. However, it wasn't until this evening that he's been able to attend and be formally inducted into the Hall of Fame. I'd like to take a few minutes and do that now.
And ABC, because we have the great sports events week in and week out, 52 weeks a year. You can't miss.
Incidentally, folks, ABC was filming the reception of the award the other night. You'll see it today on Wide World of Sports.
Oh, the tripper! Yes. John Petraglia, striking in the...
Befitting, we thank our statisticians, Harry Smith, Ralph Engen, Steve Perimsky, and Don Glover. They kept us honest all year.
John Petraglia with a strike in the ninth. His lead now is 53 pins. And you know, in doing these live color telecasts, we've had some great technical help and production help coming from many, many people at ABC. John Petraglia winning. Now John Petraglia is a double working, shooting in the 5th frame. This is a final match worth $10,000.
As Dave Davis told me coming off the lanes, Chris, he said if Petraglia is going to win this match, he must hit this right-hand lane. He says the ball breaks very late, and you have to make a perfect shot to get it in the 1-2 pocket.
Three in a row for Petraglia. A few years ago.
A slightly younger Johnny Petraglia.
3-time ABC All-American and all New York City Metro twice. Oh, four-bagger. There's another one. Oh.
There's something you just can't teach. Johnny Petraglia knew that was probably the biggest key shot of his match. He went up there, extra speed, 21 miles an hour, extra loft, extra power. Just suck those pins right off there like a vacuum sweeper. That.
Nine strikes in a row. A winner of $10,000, the new United States Open champion.
Petraglia had his back to the wall, Chris. He threw his best shot. He's a tremendous competitor.
But you reach down and come up with those shots,
He
folks.
would shut out Gary Dickinson.
He's down on the deck. Pounding it. Jubilation. Over his head. And Gary Dickinson, what a day. Yeah, well, 1-3, came from position number 5, but he's against that Tiger who shoots it down now. What a shot, 4 in a row, Penny. It's a 235, and you have a triple crown winner.
It's like an attempt to try to win this game still.
Best ball of the day by John right there.
In the 9th, only the 6th pin on the 7th frame. John Petraglia.
Goal in front of him would be a perfect game. Let's see.
I know his mom and dad are proud of his performance here today. It has been just terrific.
Strike on the first ball. Here we go.
Oh, the 49-year-older has really applied, turned the screw. 279. His game is over.
In regulation.
Now, we need only 2 more, ladies and gentlemen. $100,000. Perfect game, but this by far the most valuable $100,000, ladies and gentlemen. Bob Learn, it's our 10th. Norm Duke. 109,000 for Duke, 79 for Walter Ray. Perfect game today, $100,000 True Value hardware.
47-year-old veteran, 2 different personas, one on the lanes of a very aggressive, as you can see, tough player, and a very soft-spoken demeanor off the lanes. John is opinionated but soft-spoken, has the first 7, 8th frame. shoot the 298 again. If he can get these three, it's worth 100,000. In a row, we've had a player with 10 in a row. Goebel got to 11 last week. John's going for 11. Here we go.
I can't think of anybody finer to win at all.
Match in hand, $100,000 bonus if he strikes on this ball.
Just taken care of. I'm so happy. The kids can go to college. Everything's gravy from now on. Isn't that wonderful? The kids can go to college. Mike Connor, Commissioner of the PBA. John, here's that $100,000 to help those college kids. One quick comment. 11 shot where a pin almost didn't go down, just to make you fully appreciate what happened. Look over here at a monitor. And I think Larry Cam and Carol Letty, our producer and director, are going to show you that. We're looking at it right now.
Yeah, I was a little bit soft on this shot. I was getting nervous, and it looked like I was going to overhook high, and it held right at the end.
I'll give you a 10 on that leap.
I just wanted to say, if everyone watched that tape, you ever hear of what they call poetry in motion? That's what that is. Johnny Petraglia had thrown a 300 is poetry in motion. Also, he just told me that that bowling ball that he used, the Quantum, is in the Italian Hall of Fame in Chicago.
He's a 14-time PBA national champion, a 6-time PBA senior champion, one of 17 people to roll a 300 game on TV, as we just saw, but also in 1978 at Garden City rolled a 298. He's won bowling's Triple Crown, which is the PBA National, the Firestone Tournament of Champions, and the US Open. The only man to win 3 consecutive televised events and has won a PBA title in 5 different decades, starting in 1966 when he was 19 years old. Closer to home, he's a 3-time winner of the prestigious Newsday Tournament, and he was twice named the Metropolitan Area Bowler of the Year. Was elected to the PBA Hall of Fame in 1982, the New York Bowling Association Hall of Fame in 1993, and the United States Bowling Congress Hall of Fame in 2009. Though he no longer resides on Staten Island, we are still proud to call him one of our own. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Petraglia. Johnny, I have another gentleman over here from Maple Lane who'd like to say a few words to you.
Thank you, Joe. John, I'm going to be brutally honest with you. You might want to sit down for this one, because I don't want you to be standing here. Because as all my buddies know from Rabs and everything, I tend to be a little bit long-winded when I get up here. Naz is like, God, I hope he doesn't do what he did the night he pinch hit for Brian Voss up here. Naz had me to one of her dinners, and I had a pinch hit for Brian Voss because he couldn't make it. And let's just say I tried to drink a little bit like Brian Voss before the party started. Brian likes to party. And it didn't go over all too well. But anyway, I'm sorry, Naz. I still owe you one for that, but we'll forget about it. But be that as it may, the reason why I'm up here tonight is really to give Johnny a heartfelt thank you from 38 years ago. And he's looking at me saying, I don't really remember, but This is a Maple Lane story, John, that goes back a ways. And, I'm going to go back a little bit. This goes all the way back to 1971. But I'm going to start the story back in 2005 at Carolia Lanes. One of my friends, Anthony, his wife was going to a night class with your sister or your sister-in-law. I think it was your sister-in-law was going, and we were bowling in the Pro-Am, and Tony was able to set it up that we were going to bowl with you. And when I heard that, I was like, wow, this is my boyhood idol. This is Johnny. When I was young, I mean, guys idolized baseball players and football players and hockey players, but my guy was Johnny Petraglia. He was from Bensonhurst. He's a son of Brooklyn, and he's a son of Maple Lanes. And a little more is that my dad, Mike, and John's dad, Bill, were pretty good friends back in the day. I think they sat in on some card games together and went to the track together a couple of times, too. But that was from a long, long time back. And that night I had so much I wanted to really tell John, and I didn't want to get in the way because he's there to bowl, and there are other people there bowling with us, and I said, I'll catch his ear later. So when we got done bowling, he said, you know what, when you guys are done, come into the bar, I'm going to buy you guys a round of drinks. Problem was we had about 12 guys with us, so Johnny went for a couple of bucks. And again, I wanted to tell him exactly what he had done for me when I was young. And again, people are talking, I'm like, I don't want to bend the guy's ear and hog it, but tonight's a pretty good chance, I guess, because we're in a room here, and I know there's a lot of people here, and this is going to move along. But Labargo said, you got to tell the story, so I'm going to go and tell it. Okay? Wow. It's not too long, but back in the days, in the mid-'70s, the late '70s, when I was in, I guess, grammar school, it seemed that Johnny was on the ABC telecast almost every Saturday, at least every other weekend. And no matter what I was doing at that time, I could be in the middle of a roller hockey game with my friends or a football game, I would stop. It was 3 o'clock on Saturday. I had to get home to watch the Pro Bowlers tour, but Johnny was on. I had to get home. And God forbid I wasn't home by 1:45. My dad would come across, stand outside of Shallow, the schoolyard on 65th Street, and he'd whistle with that old-time whistle, which I could never do. And he'd say, oh, come on, Johnny's coming on. Move your ass. Get across the street for Christ's sakes. Let's go. So I knew I had to get in there. And like I said, John, a lot of my friends idolized Johnny Bench and Joe Namath and Bobby Orr back in that time. But you were it for me. You were my idol. Now, the point of the story is, when I was 9, I had severe kidney. I had some real bad kidney things happening. And I actually lost my right kidney, and my left kidney had to be hooked up to all kinds of machines. I was in the hospital for about a month in July of 1971. When Johnny won the Firestone in April of 1971, the Daily News actually did a story about him. Believe it or not, they wrote about pro bowling back in the 70s. And I cut the article out. It was on a skinny, it was on like the right-hand side of the sports pages in a skinny type of thing. And Johnny had the black rim glasses and the bell-bottom pants, and you had the, like ball hung down there low and all. And I cut it out and I held on to it and I put it in like a little book. And anything that I could do with bowling that related to you, that was it for me. And after I had been sick, and it was really, really bad for a while there, and thank God I'm still here talking about it, but after I got home, my dad went and brought that article to you, and you had signed it, Dear Joe, best wishes for speedy recovery. I wish you all the best. Your friend. Now, I had never really met you yet, but you put your friend Johnny. And in the little O, you put the 2 finger holes with the little thumb hole. And I can still see that. And you signed a pin, too, and you signed it the same way. But after I got better and back on my feet, it was about a good 3 or 4 months later. I got down to the lanes because what I couldn't wait to do, there were 2 things once I got better. I couldn't wait to eat my favorite, Nathan's hot dogs. I couldn't wait to eat that. And I couldn't wait to take my 8-pound AMF strike line bowling ball and go bowl. And I went down to the lanes to watch my dad bowl pot games. And Dad used to bowl with some of the heavy hitters down there. He never won. He actually donated a lot. He used to bowl against guys like Gene George and Billy Picone and Johnny Greco, Vinny Lotato, names from back in the day. And I I know I was at the snack bar, it was on a Saturday, and I'm sitting there eating, and my dad says to me, there's somebody here I want you to meet. He's a professional bowler. So I'm thinking, maybe it's going to be Johnny? He goes, Joseph, this is Red Bassett. And I said, Red Bassett? I'm like, hi, how are you? I'm a 9-year-old kid at the time. I'm like, hi, how are you? And he's like, how you doing? I'm like, I'm okay. And I went back to my hot dog and whatever I was eating. And then a couple of minutes later, I feel an arm on my shoulder. And I turn around, and there's my boyhood idol, Johnny Petraglia, standing there saying, how are you feeling? I heard you were pretty sick for a while. How you doing? And I said, I was like, I don't think I said anything. I think I nodded something like, I'm okay. But my eyes must have got this big, and my jaw dropped, and I was in the presence of my boyhood hero. Like some guys like Mickey Mantle and Willie Mays, and to me it was Johnny. So now I'm going to say, I don't want to steal any of your thunder. I know you want to talk too, but it gives me great pleasure to introduce someone who I'm finally going to say thank you to, because I couldn't get the words out in 1971. Thank you, Johnny, for helping me get through that tough time. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen. Son of Brooklyn, product of Maple Lanes, PBA Hall of Famer, Triple Crown winner, owner of the nationally televised 300 that you just saw, and Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame inductee, my boyhood hero, Johnny Petraglia.
Just want to let everyone know that the video that we've been watching, courtesy of ABC Sports, was through Joe Calandrillo, who works for ABC. And I want to give Joe a round of applause for that. Great job, Joey.
Now we know you all want to hear from Mr. Petraglia.
Thank you, Don. And thank you, Joe. It's, it's really, I really appreciate all of this. It's really great being back on the island and the home of Dom Labargo, Benny McNevich, Brad Wilkinson, and the whole family, and Peggy Garbarino and Gloria. It's just, it's wonderful to be back. And before I start, I do want to introduce the three women here with me. Sharon Nasta, where I bowl in Harrow Lanes in New Jersey. Sharon is every time I come home. So what charity are we doing next? She's just let's raise money for something, and that's Sharon's MO. She's just terrific. My sister-in-law, Carolyn, who's a teacher on Staten Island. So if your kids aren't learning, it's a flame up. And Joe, my wife Pat, who I share my life with, is the one that came up with the idea of the two, finger holes and the thumb hole and sun to shade. It's all our idea. I've been watching the video up there, and just for a couple of minutes, sometimes, you see a 300 on TV and how exciting it is. And incidentally, my son graduated college in May, and my daughter's in college right now, so that part's going okay. But sometimes, if there was ever a believer in fate or how things line up, if all the planets line up in a row, the 300 game, there are so many things that can make something happen, and I thought it would be a little bit interesting to tell you the inside story on that. And what had happened was Brunswick was contracted by Universal Studios in 1993 to do all of the bowling parts for the movie called Greedy that was going to star Kirk Douglas and Michael J. Fox. And because Brunswick was contracted for the bowling scenes, I was contracted to teach Michael J. Fox how to bowl. And all through 1993, I was giving him lessons. He was a good athlete. He was a hockey player. He didn't have much of an aptitude for bowling, but he really worked at it. And he was a great guy. The premiere of the movie debuted on March the 4th, 1999. It was a Friday night. The TV show there was on Saturday, March the 5th. Now in the movie, what happens is Michael J. Fox, if he can make the TV show, he's going to get a job as a TV announcer in the movie itself. And all he has to do is win the last game, which he does. And he's getting ready to throw his fill ball, and then they inform him that in the movie I bowled 289 and coming from 8th place, so unless he gets 3 or 4 pins, I've leapfrogged him and I make the show. And in the movie he hits his ankle, throws the ball in the gutter, it knocks him off TV, and I make TV, and he loses the job with ABC television. At that same time that the movie premiered, I was in 6th place going into the last game in real life in Imperial Lanes in Toledo and shot 279 the last game to make TV and then bowled a 300 the next day. So it was really surreal that something like this would happen. And the next day, Larry Lickstein, who you saw attack me after the 12th shot, we were talking about how do you pay for college, and Larry was the one that said, well, just bowl 300 and they'll get 100 grand and that can take care of it. And our Brunswick rep at the time is a man named Ray Edwards. Ray's about 6'2", 250 pounds at the time. So he's not exactly fleet of foot. And we were bowling on 27 and 8 in Imperial Lanes. The locker room was behind 59 and 60. And we had a good shot. Everybody on the show, Walter Ray and everybody else had a good shot on the show. But TV lights can do funny things to lanes. It can push the oil around. It can dry it up in spots. And 5 minutes before airtime, nobody could even hit the headpin anymore. Everybody was just missing the pocket. Nobody could get a strike. And Ray Edwards had drilled that forest green quantum with a very aggressive layout so that it would hook a lot, just in case lanes got tight. And he said to me, where's the forest green quantum? And I said, I left it in the locker room. I didn't think I needed it. And he flew down to the locker room and came running back. So he ran 30-something lanes this way, 30-something lanes back. He handed me the ball, huffing and puffing. And I got up on the approach, and the tournament director said, because we're just about ready to go on the air, one more shot on each lane, gentlemen. So Ray says to me, move into 20, move into the 4th arrow and try there on both lanes. You got one shot each, and I did. And he watched the ball really carefully, and he said, that's the ball I would start with. And I ended up bowling 300. So if A, Ray doesn't drill the ball, B, if he was a little bit slower, and if I didn't go with his recommendation, the 300 may have never happened. As I came off the lanes, the lady at the desk said, line 4 is for you, it's the White House. And I said, no, it isn't. I said, that's certainly a prank call. And she goes, oh no, they're very insistent, it's the White House. And I said, look, Bill Clinton isn't sitting in the White House watching the bowling show. And before we hardly go off the air, calling me up on the phone. It's just a prank, tell him just say thanks anyway, but he can't talk to you. And she said, I'm afraid. She said, suppose it really is the White House. I'm not going to hang up on the White House. And I said, okay, I'll answer the phone. And I grabbed the phone and I said, hi, this is John. And the person on the other end of the phone said, hello, John. My name is Joe Cirillo, and I own the White House Tavern in Chicago. And he says that you don't know me from Adam, but the whole bar is just going nuts, and I had to call you up. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but for me, to have people that I've never met before, who are in Illinois, find out the number of a bowling center in Ohio, to call me up just to congratulate me is a heck of a lot better than getting a call from Bill Clinton. Like I said, I'm really happy to be here, and I just want to change hats for a second because this is a big night for a lot of people, and this is a night where people are being inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I want everybody to realize as Don said earlier, how important a Hall of Fame and that a Hall of Fame is history, and he's exactly right. That's what it is. What a Hall of Fame is it's immortality, it's history, and it asks the question, is the person that came into this game, is the sport better off because they were in it? When you get inducted into the Hall of Fame, the answer to that question is yes. And that's what's happening to you folks tonight and the past inductees. Remember, Longfellow said, great people teach us we can make our lives sublime, and departing, leave behind us footprints in the sands of time. All of the inductees here have firmly placed their footprints in the bowling sands, and I want to congratulate all of you, and thanks for having me here. Thank you.
Jonathan Trager, everybody. That's one hell of a tough act to follow, let me tell you. Last year we went through the same thing with Teddy Atlas. Now, we're going to shift gears here very quickly. Okay. The boss has just informed me that soup is on. That means dinner is going to be served. When we come back from dinner, our first order of business, we're going to take 10 minutes and we're going to listen to the people from the Transplant Support Organization. Now, they're here in the building and they're looking for donors, organ donors, okay? Everybody that's here that is healthy, myself included, should listen to, you just heard Joe Calandrello tell a nice long story about the trials and tribulations he went through. So we're going to eat our dinner, and as soon as we come back, we're going to ask you to come up. We must take care of, before we get on with our presentations of this year's inductees. We have a group with us tonight. They represent the Transplant Support Organization. Now these people provide support for information for donors, recipients, and their families. So I'm going to ask Joan Gottschalk to come on up and say a few words on their behalf. Please everybody give this your undivided attention. And again, I cite Joe Calandrello can tell you the importance of this. Give it up for Joan Gottschalk.
Hi, I'm only going to take a little bit of your time, but I wanted to tell you a little bit about my story. On the theory that if you see it walking and talking in front of you, it will have a greater impact than if you just read a pamphlet. In August of the year 2000, I was diagnosed with carcinoid cancer. Carcinoid cancer is a neuroendocrine cancer, and with neuroendocrine cancer, it isn't most of the time the tumors themselves that kill you. It's the fact that the tumors pump out these hormones that go circulating around your body, and they destroy your body's ability to function. At the time that I was diagnosed, the cancer had spread hugely into my liver from my small intestine. The drugs that they give you try to protect you from the effect of the hormones that the tumors are pumping out. By November, I had had surgery to remove the primary tumor in my small intestine. And as soon as I recuperated from that, they were going to try and do something about the tumors that I had in my liver. But when the time came for them to begin to do that, they sat me down and they told me that anything that could be possibly done, cut out tumor, inject the tumors with chemotherapy, burn them, freeze them, whatever they could do, in order for them to have any effect at all, they would have to do so much of it or repeat it so often that the treatment itself would kill me. So that they effectively had nothing left that they could do for me. And the medicine that they was giving me to protect my body from the effects of the hormones that the tumors were pumping out was almost ineffectual, because there was so much coming out that they simply were not up to the task of controlling the effects. So I knew that I had to wrap my mind about the idea that I was going to die pretty quickly. And I was thinking what would happen to my kids. I was a single mother at the time. Who would raise them? What was I going to do? And the doctor said to me, the only thing that we could possibly recommend to you is that you try and get a liver transplant. Well, it's like you're drowning, and you're in the ocean and there's nobody there, and you know you're going to die, and then somebody comes and throws you a life preserver. And you say to yourself, oh my God, I don't have to die. I don't have to worry about who's going to raise my kids. I can have a liver transplant, and I can just go on. But then they said to me at the transplant center, after they approved me for a liver transplant, they evaluated me. They said, we'll evaluate you, we can recommend you for a liver transplant, but we can tell you right now that you are never going to get to the top of the list in time. There just are not enough livers to go around, and in your particular case, you're not going to get there. So there you are again. How can this be happening? There is the technology. It's so common. It's so possible. It's not a rarity. There is something out there in the world that could save you and save your life, and you can't have it just because the supply is so small. My miracle happened because I had a sister, a twin sister, and she stepped up and she wanted to be a living donor and give me a piece of her liver as a living donor. And it turned out that she was a perfect match. But this is major surgery, and it has its own complications and risk of dying. And I didn't want my sister, who was perfectly healthy and had nothing wrong with her, to risk possibly dying in this major surgery or having major complications that would change the rest of her life. I was also selfishly counting on her to raise my kids, who were young at the time. So I really didn't want to put her through it, but they explained to us the risks and benefits, and eventually we agreed to go ahead and do the surgery. And thank God, it worked out fine for both of us, and that's the reason that I'm standing here, able to be here and talk to you today. But there are over 100,000 people waiting for organs on the organ transplant list. And there are over 250 people here on Staten Island alone that are on the list and waiting. And many, many of those people are going to die waiting because the supply of organs just simply is 100,000 times bigger, less than the demand. And for everybody who puts themselves on the donor list and decides to become an organ donor, only 1% of those people will die in such circumstances that they will be able to have their intentions realized to be donors. Because you have to be brain dead, you have to be close enough to a medical facility at the time of your death so that those organs can be kept alive. They put you on life support so that oxygen refreshes your organs, or otherwise they cannot be used. Your body starts to deteriorate as soon as you are dying. So under one circumstance or another, only 1% of people who volunteer to become organ donors ever are in a position to actually do that thing. Now, from one person, over 55 people can benefit. They can have your organs, your lungs, your kidneys, your pancreas, your intestines, your liver, your heart. And then other people can benefit, and that will give people another chance at life. Then there are people who are injured in fires that can benefit from skin and tissue grafts, bone grafts, things like that. So in general, many people can be helped. I'm not here to tell you to do it or not to do it. I'm here today Our organization's function is to get you thinking about it. Give it some thought. Most people don't like to think about these things, especially when they're young. But please, just think about it. And if you should decide to become an organ donor, then it's important to talk to your loved ones, your family, about your decisions so that if it ever happens, they can make sure that your wishes are fulfilled. We have a little table in the back of the room, and you can come over there and get more information if you're interested. We will be here a little while longer. We have some pamphlets. If you feel like it, 2 people already came by and signed up to be donors before we even opened our mouths. Just give it some thought, and however you decide, thank you at least for considering the possibility. And Corey Gruskin, who is an avid bowler but had to leave early for work, and who is a kidney recipient, asked me to remind you or to inform you that on November 10th at 10 p.m. there will be a documentary called letter D Tour. And it will be broadcast on PBS's program that's called Independent Lens. So it's a film, and everyone who's seen it loves it. It shows you the entire organ donation and transplant process. And it's told through one man's story. That's 10 o'clock on PBS, November 10th. This show is called D Tour. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, Joan, very much. I might add, they also have an ad in our journal, so if you need any further information after tonight, look in the journal. They have a phone number in there for you. Hopefully, you will at least consider it. Okay, as they say, on with the show. Our next inductee could not be here tonight. Rudy Tafuri. I'm going to tell you a little bit about him, then I'm going to ask Joe Labargo to come up and take his award. Rudy Tafuri was the original manager of the brand new Bowling on the Green from 1959 to 1966. In 1963, he created a tournament of Staten Island men bowlers, which was a rousing success. He started his career at the old Village Lanes as a pin boy in the 1930s. He defeated Benny McNevich on his way to a television appearance in which he was victorious. So Joe Labargo, I want to come on up, please. And we also want to acknowledge Mr. Frank Wilkinson. Frank, you please stand up. He's our president of the Staten Island United States Bowling Congress. Keep up the good work. Louis Gaudio Jr., where are you? Future Hall of Famer Louis Gaudio Jr. We know that's pretty much etched in stone. Keep up the good work, and we're all proud of you. Okay.
I spoke with Rudy a couple of weeks ago, and he said the doctors do not want him to travel. He lives in the Toms River area. He's 85 years old, and he's very, very sick. He has a son that's a teacher at St. Joseph by the Sea High School. And I spoke with him the other day, and the family is in tears because they're just so happy that about this award. So we want to thank everybody, and we're going to make sure that he gets his award. Thank you.
Okay, Joey Albany, stand up. Member of the Hall of Fame. Let's do a couple of these real quick. Jimmy Costopia, member of the Hall of Fame. Mr. Garrity, one of my all-time favorite people, Jimmy Garrity. We must not forget Jimmy Oliveri Sr. The effervescent Whitey Ross is in the house. Put your hands together, show some love for that guy. You go, boy, you go. Carol Stefanski, where are you? Carol, I know I saw you. Hello, my dear. Frankie Perillo, didn't I see Frankie? Thank you, how are you? Nice to see you. course, we have Naz and we have Ray, of course. That's Exton Stone, Louis Velasco, where were you? Just go where the most boozers, you'll find Louis, right? Who am I forgetting here? Ray Barasciano and Penny Clinton. Ah, there you go. Hello, lovely ladies. And last year, we had Loretta O'Connor. Where's Loretta? Save your best for last, Loretta. Okay. Now, our first guy. Oh, well, I'm going to pass the buck on that one, Donna Van Vorst. Actually, Donna, I was testing them. You passed. Okay, the first guy, it's probably been a long time coming. I remember this young man when he would walk into Knotty Pine Lanes back in the mid-'60s, late 60s. And the first time I remember seeing him participate, couldn't find a ball that fit him. He put the thumb in, then the fingers in. Then when he put the fingers in, he put the wrong fingers in. Totally frustrated, couldn't keep the ball on the lane. But through hard work and diligence, he actually became a bowler. A bowler so good that he is here now being inducted in our class of 2010. He had the will to win, he had determination. He was going to succeed in this no matter what it took or how much it cost him. He worked hard. He'd come to Knotty Pine Lanes all the time. We kind of off the cuff let him bowl. Boss wasn't there, Eddie Nazzarino, may he rest in peace. Wasn't there, but we kind of took care of him, catered to him, and tried to make him a better bowler, just so that he would enjoy the game and not get frustrated. Never mind, no talk of no Hall of Fame, just so that he could enjoy the game and not make a fool of himself. So let me tell you a little bit about his resume. He has 4 300 games, and today that's not so unique. But the uniqueness is he has 4 300s, one in each of 4 different centers. He has one at Bowling on the Green, one at Showplace, one at Colonial, and one at Country Lanes that he bowled in my Tournament of Champions tournament with my Staten Island Bowling Club. He has 800 series, he has an 802 at Bowling on the Green, and he has an 802 at Roosevelt Lanes in New Jersey. He won the Staten Island Singles Classic when it was still at Knotty Pine in 1979. He's only one of 5 people that have won both major tournaments, my tournament and of course the long-running New Year's Classic tournament. He was one of 5 that won both tournaments. He won 3 stops with the Staten Island Bowling Club. He won January of 1994 with Sunset Lanes, June of 95 at Columbian Lanes, and another one at Colonial Lanes. In addition to that, he had 3 second-place finishes with the SIBC. So anytime he bowled in a tournament, he made his presence felt. He also has a Billy McCaig no-tap tournament win in 1984. I kind of sound like I'm reeling off the stuff of my singles classic when I do my thing with that, but his resume is what it is. He had a second-place finish in the following year of the Tournament of Champions in 1996 at Colonial Lanes. Many years ago, I run a King of the Hill tournament. He won it for 9 consecutive weeks at the old Sunset Lanes. And the reason it expired because nobody could beat him. So we had to knock it off because nobody was turning out. That's impact. That's what Hall of Fame is all about. He bowled in, this is very interesting. He bowled in 5 different leagues from 95, 96, 97. He averaged at least 205 in each one of those 5 houses, and that's 5 leagues in that 3-week period of time. That's pretty incredible. He's also the only one that I know outside of Chucky Curiaza who has a sanctioned average, both righty and lefty. Now the Staten Island Advance had a feature on him telling everybody all about it. There's also a personal interest in me because he was my neighbor many years ago. And my 4 boys would refer to him as Uncle Bobby, because if I had to go somewhere, you always had Uncle Bobby that you could turn to if a problem should arise. So let me be the first to say and proudly say it, please welcome 2010 Staten Island Bowling Hall of Famer, Bobby Garzon. Congratulations, Alex. Ronnie, would you mind presenting the trophy to him, if you don't mind?
Thanks, Bill. Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don. Thank you very much. Not big on speeches myself. Kind of nervous. Other people get nervous. I was always told that if you're nervous during a speech, think of somebody naked. So if my speech makes you guys nervous, just go ahead and take your clothes off. I want to thank everyone for coming out tonight. Special thanks to Johnny Petraglia for being here, making this night special. For everybody's, for all the years here. Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame inductees, as well as this year's honorees. It's an honor and very humbling to be in the same name as some of the very prominent people here. To be, sorry, no cheaters. To be around to help out. I want to help out some of the. I want to be around to help out some of the future Hall of Famers that come, and I wish the future bowlers get in. And also, I want to reach out to wish our friend and Hall of Famer Don Labargo speedy recovery for open heart surgery. I just visited him before I came here. Great guy. Get well soon, Dom. We miss you being here tonight. Before I start to spin out some well-deserved kudos and thank yous to some very deserving people, I feel the need to reach out to table number 8. My favorite team in 37 years of bowling. Thursday night, Montalbano League, bowling on the green, C&M truck repair. Staten Island Bowling Hall of Famer Captain Joey Albanese, Joey Bruno, Ronnie Bang Bang Oliveri, our sub Pete Sharab, who could not be here tonight, we miss him, and our sponsor Carmine Vigliaroli. I felt the need to remind you guys right now, this is not a roast. Seriously, bowling with these guys and many other great people made the sport I love so gratifying and initiated friendships that will last a lifetime. Many of those friends are here tonight, and probably half of you guys are on my Facebook. And if I make a mistake tonight during the speech, at least wait till you get home to put it on my status page. Bowling. It started when I was 8 years old. Joe Cali reminded me of something because I have it in my speech. Down in the basement, cool looking black round thing, red stripe, Dad's AMF Magic Line bowling ball. I can tell you, he did not appreciate me practicing with it in the driveway. Wish you were here with us tonight, Dad. Love you and thank you for introducing me to the game. January 2010 marks 10 years I have not been on the bowling circuit. So this is probably a good time to announce my free agency for next season. 175. I gotta tell you, this is off the cuff. No carrying bowling balls. That's all you need. Okay. I remember it all going back to my first men's league, 1970, Knotty Pine Lanes. I was 14 years old. 2 lifelong friends that I thought were here tonight, but one is. They were on that team. Anthony Mamalito, my friend Victor Rosa. I want to thank you guys now for helping me fabricate all those lies. Because I had an 8 o'clock curfew and never got home before 9:30. Damn. My mother's just here. She heard that. Since you're here, Mom, happy birthday. Love you. Being introduced tonight, you heard of some of my accomplishments and contributions to the game. Honestly, a lot of them pale in comparison to what's being done out on the lanes today. I don't look back and say, geez, maybe I could have been better, or I'd rather look at it this way. Wow, the sport is in good hands. There are some great kids out there bowling phenomenal scores. It's a credit to them and their dedication. It also tells me that the game's proprietors are doing their part with great lane conditions, meeting all the needs of its customers. Staten Island should be proud and grateful for its lane proprietors, past and present. Thank you for everything you've ever done for me. I don't want to drag this on too long because I think Christine Cipriano has a 12-page speech prepared. Need2escape.com, the greatest massages you'll ever have. I'd like to thank the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame Committee and everyone involved making tonight a memory of a lifetime. Country Pro Shop House Pro Ray Lawson, Jimmy Libetti, Showplace House Pro Vinny D'Ambrosio, Donnie Wood, where are you? For all the years of hard work, keeping my equipment up to snuff, and for putting up with my tireless whining about lane conditions. Also, thanks to the staff of all the establishments over the years. Way too many to mention, don't want to leave anyone out. Thank you very much. In closing, I want to thank my friends Liz Wislock, Mike Fiore, my work partner and friend Brian Levinsky, Mrs. M, Jerry Mamalito, Debbie DeRosa. No, Richie Smith is not here tonight. Quick congrats to my friend Jimmy Otto on his city council victory. Hall of Famer Benny McNevich. Let's not forget you, my friend. Heaven's best bowler ever. I want to tell you a quick story with Benny. We had a Monday Night League, and like you guys from Victory Lanes will know that. Monday Night League, we had a cake for Benny McNevich one night. There were so many candles when he was going to throw the ball that nobody even realized we turned the lights off. We miss you, Benny. Thank all my friends here tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Lastly, but most important, is anything I've said tonight or have ever said in my lifetime. I will always feel that as long as there's bowling on Staten Island, Brad Wilkinson is here, watching, taking care of his bowlers, as he has always done better than anybody. Thanks for everything, Brad. We miss you. I want everybody tonight to have a great time. Go bowling. It makes you feel like you'd like to. And I hope to see you at Mitch and Lori Weinberg's house for the after party. Thank you.
Okay, at this point in time, I'm going to turn it over to the esteemed Donna Zajac.
Good evening, everyone. It is my privilege to induct tonight into the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame Michelle Sabini for meritorious service. How does someone get involved in bowling? Sometimes it's just as simple as a high school bowling club, and you think, wow, I really like this sport. Unfortunately, Michelle bowled in an era where structured bowling wasn't in effect yet in the high schools. After high school, though, Michelle joined an adult league with her sister Linda in Melody Lanes in Brooklyn, and then proceeded to bowl at Maple. She moved to Staten Island in 1974, but continued to go back to Brooklyn. But in 1979, she joined the league at Country Lanes with her sister Joanne. Her bowling scores and averages were fine, but it was the love of the sport and the camaraderie of members and friends she met along the way that took her to her next plateau, which was volunteering. By the way, Michelle did join the Staten Island Women's 600 Bowling Club in December of 1989 with a 604. Michelle would drive her nephews, Robert and Michael, to Saturday morning bowling at Country Lanes. They bowled in the Penrose Juniors League. She would sit and watch them bowl. As long as she was there, she asked if there was anything that she could do to help. Of course, no one would turn down an extra pair of hands, no matter what the job was. She started out helping with shirts, that led to helping with scores, and that led to whatever task she was asked to do. She assisted Penny Clinton Jensen and Ro Barasciano in all capacities that they needed from 1993 to 2002. Penny and Ro started a real coaching program where they wanted all of their adult and teenage coaches to be certified in order to help the youth Michelle took the Level 1 coaching course in 1995 so that she could help the children in their weekly sessions. She then went on to take the Bronze Level coaching course in 1996, and she also coached Bowling on the Green Saturday Juniors in their weekly sessions from 2002 to 2004. Finally, in 2003, Michelle took the Level 2 coaching course. From 1996 to 2004, Michelle became involved in the Staten Island Junior Bowling program. She became an assistant director and assisted in the organization and running of these tournaments. Michelle would take her nephews to any tournament that they qualified for. A team tournament in White Plains, a state tournament in Syracuse, and that is how she became involved in the New York State YABA. She was there, and she found out that Staten Island did not have a delegate for the state YABA annual meeting, because the other Staten Island adults that were involved were already officers on the board. Michelle handed in a resume and was elected delegate to the annual meeting from 1997 to 99. She would vote on all the proposals and legislature and bring the information back to the local YABA association. She became a youth leader advisor in 1997 and is still in that role today. She supervises the youth leaders at their meetings, tournaments, both local and state. She helps in organizing their fundraising, helps and advises the youth, volunteers, and so on. In 1999, Region 9 of the New York State YABA, now the New York State USBC Youth, needed an associate director. Michelle was asked if she would consider it. She filled out a resume to be nominated for election, and she won. She attends the annual meetings to discuss and vote on USBC issues, rules, administration, etc. She still holds that position today. She helps in running the tournaments as far as working in the back office, checking in, and doing scores. She runs the 50-50s and helps with selling shirts and other merchandise. She travels with the youth to the Section 9 team tournament, the Region 9 Pepsi Championships, the Syracuse Team Championships, and the Pepsi Championships. Her involvement with the youth got her elected by the Youth Committee to serve on the Staten Island USBC Board of Directors. She is the chairlady of the Scholarship Committee, which puts together applications, reviews, and determines the winner each year of our local association scholarships. She also puts together the application for private scholarships for the Charles D. Hart Memorial, the President's Award, and the newest scholarship for an adult bowler for continuing education. It is my privilege to introduce you to Michelle Savini, being inducted into the 2010 Staten Island Hall of Fame for meritorious service.
I want to thank the committee for this nomination and this honor. And I also would like to thank, going back to my nephews, if it wasn't for them wanting to go bowling, I would never be here. Penny and Ro and Fran with all the questions and help that they needed. Also, when it got to state, all the state directors, the Staten Island directors, it's just a pleasure working with them. And also, without the youth, there is no USBC for the youth, no committees, no scholarships, no nothing. So I want to thank them, let them keep bowling great, and hopefully in the future, some of them will be up here receiving the same award. And that's about it. Thank you.
Okay. I mentioned earlier that we've got a lot of young lions that are making a name for themselves in this great game of bowling. And like we do every year, we have a couple of youngsters that bowled perfect 300 games. That bowled perfect 300 games, and we want to acknowledge their accomplishment. And we want to present them with their Hall of Fame trophies. So please, Garrett Gertz and Mr. Spato, please step forward, and we'll have, I'm going to turn it over to Johnny Petraglia for you.
Garrett? Garrett, congratulations. Alexander. Great going. These are, you know, when people bowl 300 at their age, you know, this is the future of our sport. This is what keeps it going. And I think this is really great as Michelle got her award as they're getting their 300s. You know, the people that go into the Hall of Fame for meritorious service, they're the gatekeepers. They're the watchdogs of the sport. They're the ones that keep it pure. And without you, we can't exist. And that's where the kids are headed. With your great health, they'll keep going. Congratulations, guys. Thank you.
Thank you, Johnny, once again. Okay, if anybody wants a copy of this tape, you know it is being taped. And of course, it's in the very capable and able hands of Joey G's Memories Video, who I might add is also a member of our Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame. He's a man that wears many hats. He's been doing it forever. He's the best there is. So if you want a copy of the tape, please see Joey or let me know, and we'll get you the information, and we promise you that you will get the tape. Next up. Boy, this is what I love about this. It's so great. You know, again, you watch everybody grow up because you're doing this whole thing your entire life, and you watch everybody grow up, and you watch them grow as bowlers and as people, and you like to think that maybe just somewhere along the way, you helped them just a little bit in the right direction. This next young man is one of those people. I remember him as a youth over at Sunset Lanes. And he always had the desire to be the best, and he had the will to win. He was always positive towards his approach to the game, and he was a real student of the game. And he, like many others, as I mentioned earlier, Ray Lawson Jr., Louis Gordio Jr., and his father Sr., he is passing his baton to his youngster. He's bowling with his young son. And his son has a couple of titles to his credit too. His son Evan is a youth. So there again we see the generational type thing. Here's Evan over there. So he started his career, or his bowling career, at the age of 8 at the old Sunset Lanes in the late 70s. And when he was a junior bowler at the age of 14, he had a 150 average, which back in the 70s was not bad. That's 6 marks a game, so that's a good start. And like many other bowlers, the passion for him just grew and grew. He has 4 800 series. He bowled the very first 800 series at Showplace Bowling Center when they opened. I'm sure Mikey Pellegrino remembers that one. The Pelican in the house. He has 11 more perfect games since then. He became a member of the PBA. He had a multitude of Kegler bowling tournaments, Jimmy Lustig tournaments, Rolling Thunder tournaments, match play championships. He was a PBA member from 1990 to 2004. He placed 4th in Erie, PA regionals in 2000, and he placed 4th again in Albany, New York at their regionals. He had 2 city championships with Tottenville High School, 3 Triple Crown victories. But what I remember most about him as a recreational bowler, as I said, he was a student of the game, and he worked very hard at the game. He took the game very serious. And yet, you know, a lot of bowlers are very serious. They don't have time for fun. They'll take the fun away from everybody else. But having bowled with him in my Sunday morning league, he was always fun. But when he toed the line, his focus was totally on the next shot, and it better be better than the previous shot that I just took. He had this uncanny knack of staying focused when he had to be focused. He was very good at it. And again, I watched them grow up. It was a real joy watching them bowl. So now, I happily present for this year's class of 2009, Mitch Weinberg. Congratulations, sir.
As Mr. Garzone stated earlier, when you're nervous, if you picture somebody naked, it makes things a lot easier. So Bobby, if you can leave the room, please. I really don't want to see you naked. I'd like to thank Johnny Petraglia for coming here today and spending time with us. His career is enormous. It's amazing. Thank you for coming, Johnny. And I got friendly with Mark Roth over the years, and recently he had a stroke, and he's not in the best of health. So if we could all send out prayers out to Mark Roth, I'd appreciate it. All right. What an unfortunate coincidence that I'm receiving this award the same year I lost my mentor, Murray Goldstein. As everybody knows, we really didn't get to say a proper goodbye to him. I didn't actually, but I'd like everybody to take a moment, please. I would appreciate it if we could just take another moment to memorize Murray Goldstein. I'd appreciate it. Thank you. I'd like to start off by saying a few words about a man who meant the world to me. He not only taught me this wonderful sport, but also a lot about being a man. Most people in this room I bowled with or against know how I am. A lamb off the lanes and a tiger on them. Murray showed me the way. Although I have to admit at times it took me a little longer than others to reach a certain level of maturity. Thanks to all, a little nervous. Thanks to all that I bowled with for never kicking my ass when I bothered you on the lanes. Murray, you are sorely missed and definitely left us too early. If you didn't snatch me out of Sunset Lanes that year, I would never have made it here. I dedicate this award to Murray Goldstein. Thanks, Murray. I'd like to thank the committee for this great honor. Your dedication to this sport is appreciated by all in this room, so keep up the good work. Also, Rab Wilkinson, he was a friend, always said, hi, how are you, how you doing, can I help you? For founding the Hall of Fame and keeping Country Lanes the best bowling center on Staten Island. And to his kids, I'm glad that you took over the center and keep it going, because Country Lanes is truly the best center on Staten Island. Two people in this room took my game to places that even I couldn't have dreamed of. First off is Ray Lawson. Growing up, Country Lanes, great time in my life. His hard work and dedication have been a strong driving force in my life for all those years. Thanks for putting up with me. It's really well appreciated. I'll never forget what you did for my life and my career. Secondly, Vinny D'Ambrosio, he was supposed to be here. My roomie on the road, spent some of the greatest times of my life traveling to different cities. Getting lost at probably each one of them, which wasn't fun. But through it all, we never had a fight. We always laughed about it and shook it off and picked each other up when one was bowling well and the other one wasn't. Except for when we were 12 or 13 at Sunset Lanes, we did have a fight once. I remember I got mad for some reason. I probably kicked the machine or something. And he did punch the wall and broke his hand. He broke his right hand. And people don't know it, that's why he became a lefty. Because he had a problem with his right hand. Vinny, your patience and all the time you spent with me over the years is truly appreciated and will never be forgotten. Just a little surprise. I would like to take a moment and introduce you to a young man, a special person in my life, a man who at age 8 averages 189 with me, and 1 month ago won his first junior tournament, throwing a career high 258 in 630 series at age 8. It included 10 strikes in a row, then shooting a 201 to take the title, first of many to come. Ladies and gentlemen, my son, Evan. Can you join me, please? I'd like you to share this day with me. And by the way, something just came here via Ray Larson. Thank you. A trophy to commemorate his first championship. First of many more to come. I love you. For you. The 3 men I mentioned earlier, Ray, Murray, and Vinny, taught me so much on and off the lanes that I can only hope to do them justice when passing it on to you. And hope you will be better than I ever will be, or was. I love you. Thank you. I need somebody to lean on. Thanks to Jim Elliott, Donnie Walters for running their respective tournaments. Their hard work is something overlooked by everyone and should be recognized and appreciated. To all my teammates and competitors who over the years, it was a pleasure bowling with you. I tried to figure it out. I bowled about 30 years, 2 different leagues a year. That means about 250 different teammates. Thank you so much for sharing the ups and downs of this great game. Congrats to all the other honorees this evening. You are deserving of these awards. Even Bobby Garzone. I'm not paying for that party, by the way. Bobby, by the way, introduced me to my wife, Lori. She's a paramedic. They were working on the ambulance together one day. And he stopped in to see his buddy at a deli in Tottenville and said, you know what? Why don't you go in and meet my friend? He's single. You know, you never know. So she replied, if he's a friend of yours, I'm never going to like him. Sorry, Bob, but it's true. He convinced her, threw her out of the ambulance, and convinced her that I made a great tuna fish sandwich. And the rest is history. Bobby, thank you very much. You mean a lot to me. Finally, my family is here. My father and his wife, Lorraine. Thank you for sharing this great day with me. And I love you. Thanks to my brother Ross, who is unfortunately not here, but he has always been supportive of everything I do. My in-laws, Alan and Robin Mitnick. Thank you for letting me marry your daughter when all I wanted to do was bowl. Had no future plans and direction. You were courageous in giving your support for our marriage. To my sister-in-law, Randy, thanks for always being a friend. You're a special woman and deserve all my thanks for being there. Thank you. To my mom and Vince, thank you for everything you've done, from backing me in so many tournaments, picking me up when I lost, to picking up the tabs for all the parties when I won. You are the best mother a child could ask for. Vince, your wisdom and strength has always guided me and have helped me through some of the toughest times. Well, that's it. Sorry. My wife and son, Lori. Lori and Evan, most of us in here have children. Lori and I had a tragedy years ago. We lost our first child. This was a traumatic and horrifying experience, and we sat around for months afterwards, wondering if we could ever really try this again. Well, we know we had to, and then we were truly blessed with the birth of our son, Evan. He has everything you could hope for in a child. He's smart, goofy, caring, funny, and a terrific athlete. I only hope that I am worthy of being his father because he deserves the best. I love you. I still love you. My wife, Lori, whose birthday it is tomorrow. Happy birthday, baby.
Happy birthday.
I think sometimes if you didn't walk into my deli that day, where I would be today. The answer is nowhere near where I am. You put up with me. I wanted to bowl and not be tied down and start a family, and you let me go and do it. I didn't have a solid future, but you saw something in me that I didn't and decided to take a chance in me. I am so happy that you did, and that we are where we are today, together as a family. You do complete me. I love you. Thanks, everyone.
I feel a lot of love in here tonight, I got to tell you. A lot of love, but that's what this game is all about. Donna, are you ready, my dear? We are going to turn the festivities over to Donna Zajac.
Performance on the lanes. It is with great privilege that I am inducting this evening Chris Cipriano into Staten Island Hall of Fame for superior performance. Chris started bowling at 8 years old in the Saturday morning juniors at Bowling on the Green. This league was coached by Ruth Doctor and Ray Pellegrini. As Chris explained to me, this gave her the structure and the discipline that she needed for league and tournament play, especially as she got older and more competitive. Her dad, Gene, was the avid bowler and also helped coaching her, giving her the tips that she needed to perfect her game. As she entered high school, 1975 to 78, she still continued with the Saturday AM juniors, but she joined the Newdorp High School team as a freshman. During her 4 years at Newdorp, she became the captain in her junior and senior year and led the school to 2 New York City PSAL championships. She averaged at the time 175, but averaged in the 180s during the city playoffs. In 1977, Chris achieved the honor of an Advanced All-Star. That year also, she owned the highest average in a 12-game block of any other female high school bowler in the city. During high school and the Saturday morning juniors, she would watch, observe, listen, and pick up tips from the other seasoned junior bowlers, like Danny Cifoletti. He bowled with a fingertip. Chris knew that that was what she needed to do in order to improve her game. She would, and I quote, observe and do. She practiced 4 to 5 times a week. Her dad was always there. Other seniors hung around to help and give her pointers and guidance, and she kept picking up little tricks all along the way. Just as a side note though, bowling wasn't the only sport that Chris was proficient in. In 1975, she became the first female to play in Babe Ruth Baseball League and a member of the All-Star team. In 1978, Chris was asked by Peggy Garbarino to bowl in the Monday Night Mixed Majors League at Bowling on the Green. This was her first adult league, and what a league to start off in. It was the #1 mixed league on Staten Island with such bowling greats as Rab and Eddie Wilkinson, Pat Police, Lou Vigliotti, Matty Fiore, and Gene George, just to name a few of the high caliber bowlers that were in this league. that this young 18-year-old was putting herself up against. There was an article in the Staten Island Advance in May 25th, 1980, that headlined, "Chris shows she can bowl with the boys." She was one of 2 women who bowled with the men in the Bowling on the Green Marathon 3. It was a 10-game block tournament. Chris, Lucy Donatuano, and 78 men. Chris achieved entry into the second round. She averaged 207 for the tournament and was just 67 pins shy of cashing. She finished 13th and only 19 years old. When she entered the tournament, she said to herself, "I know I belong here. I have confidence in my skill set, and I have that hungry competitiveness." She proved that she belonged. November 7th, 1981, Chris broke another Staten Island record by bowling a 750 series at Country Lanes with games of 266, 252, and 232. It was record high, and she was the 6th woman to shoot over 700 in Staten Island bowling history. Chris recalls that tons of people were watching, and she feels that as they were watching, that she was opening up doors for all other women bowlers to sit back and think, if she can do it, I can do it. Other accolades to Chris are in the Staten Island Women's Bowling Association tournaments. In 1982, she won Team Net with a 2664. Dennis Regatti Enterprises was the team name, with Lorraine DiMartino, Mary McGuire Firminio, Joanne Vetlin, and Peggy Garbarino. The year after, 1983, they won Team Net again. This time, their team was called Strike City Bowl, with a 2665, 1 pin better than the previous year. Same bowlers, Lorraine, Joanne, Peggy, but they switched Mary out for Arlene Pascarella. That same year, she also won doubles net with Peggy Garbarino with a 1235. 1984, 3rd year in a row, Team Net, Strike City Bowl. This time they beat their score by 111 pins from the previous year with a 2766. Again, it was Lorraine DiMartino, Joanne Vetlin, Peggy Garbarino, but they got Mary back. Chris traveled to the Metropolitan Tournaments, the New York Regionals, the New York State Tournaments, and became a member of the WASA during her bowling career. In 1985, the Canadian club team, made up of bowling greats Peggy Garbarino, Sharon Nasta, Maureen Richards, Betty Charles, and Chris, bowled in the Women's International Bowling Congress tournament and fell just 1 pin short of the WIBC record for a 3-game series by a 5-woman team at the Bowlodrome in Kenilworth, New Jersey. The Canadian club team had a 33-78 series. That is a 675 series per girl. As well as a 1201 game that is 3rd on the all-time record list. That is a 240 average per game per girl. Chris explained to me that the high that she was on, having the privilege to bowl with these awesome women, and that her adrenaline was so high after the first game of competition that she gutted the ball the first 3 frames of the second game. Betty Charles, though, sat her down and whispered in her ear to calm down, forget those frames, that they are in the past. Just look ahead at what you can do. Chris proceeded to strike out the rest of the game. So that was pretty good advice. 1991, Chris recorded a female high of a 197 average at Bowling on the Green. She stopped bowling in 1995 due to a few reasons. She was injured and was in a lot of pain and was holding a full-time job, going back to school, so she could not give the time and diligence to the game. Her new passion right now is golf. I asked her how she was doing, and I was told she has a 14 handicap. I, not knowing much about golf, inquisitively asked, "Is that good?" Chris's analogy to me was, it's the Peggy caliber in the golf world. So look for Chris on the golf course, and if you need some lessons or tips, she is certified and can teach golf since 2006. Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Chris Cipriano, 2010 Staten Island.
Oh my goodness gracious. Wow is not even a word. Bobby, you still naked? Where is he? I can't get that out of my mind. Needless to say, I am totally in awe. I have to put my glasses on. In the presence of the love and greatness brought about the one thing that I am passionate about, have incredible respect for, a sport that has brought many beautiful and proud moments in my life. Rather than bore you with the narration of how my bowling life has been since I was 8, Donnie, you didn't bore me at all, thank you. When I unknowingly rocked the world of bowling dominated by men, I would like to take this rare and important moment to thank those who have left an imprint in my heart. I am deeply humbled by your decision to induct me into the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame. Wow, that really feels good. Thank you to the committee itself. Who I am now and what I've become in bowling is a symphony of love and support of loved ones, true friends, mentors who've never stopped believing. My father, Gene, my rock, introduced my sister and me to the game early on, and was there every Saturday morning and every tournament, eager to see what the scores would be that day. My mom, who has always been supportive in the wings, and my sister Fran, the other half of the dynamic duo, who has so much to be proud of herself. And last but not least, it's going to be a tough one, Peggy Garbarino. I was fortunate to meet Peggy in the adult bowling loop after high school. How we met, I don't know. Maybe she saw the articles in the paper that was so diligently done back then in the 1970s and 80s. She quickly embraced me with her wonderful wings and forever influenced my life. Sportsmanship, integrity, grace, professionalism, and focus were just a few of life's key characteristics that we shared. Peggy is no longer with us, but she remains forever in my heart. I want to send a special thank you to Peggy's sister Mary for her persistent efforts and undying support to remember the achievements Peggy and I had. Thank you. You know, I was always affectionately called the kid among the veteran women. Of course, it was also the truth. How lucky was I to be in the company of so many talented women bowlers who, without a hesitation, asked me to bowl with them. It was such an honor to be their teammate. In 1985, as Donna has expressed, we achieved greatness one night in New Jersey and made national history. To say this was an exciting evening is putting it mildly, especially that it includes regatta bowls. I will never forget that night. When I was told I was receiving this honor, I contacted Sharon Nasta. I haven't spoken to her in many, many, many years. I invited her, and without hesitation, she said yes. Did you think that I wasn't coming? To receive this recognition in the company of fellow Canadian club teammate and Bergen County Hall of Famer herself is truly an honor. One of my fondest memories, which makes me grin every time, is how Peggy stood proudly and without expression, put up with my off-key rendition of Barbra Streisand's Songbird while I sang in her ear in between frames that propelled me to score 750 that night. Peggy probably thought, sing your heart out, whatever it takes to win. I couldn't thank you all enough, and I dedicate this honor to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chris, and congratulations go out to you. Wow, what can you say about our next inductee? To know him is to love him. Good guys finish last, because he's the pinnacle of all of that. You know, he gave me this big silly worksheet of what I've done and this, that. Everybody knows this guy. His reputation precedes him. We all know what he's meant to Staten Island community bowling. He's just one of the nicest guys you could ever brush bowling balls with. His friendly smile and easygoing manner certainly make him a friend to all. He hit the scene with us here in 1981 at Country Lanes. He started as a desk worker. He figured if he kept doing that, they might put him on pots and pans, but he worked his way up to center manager. When he became the manager, he learned all aspects of the greatest game, our game that we all love, the greatest game of bowling. Along came 1987, Showplace Bowling Center. Guess who got the call? So now he got involved in Showplace. But along the way, guess what? Along the way, he learned how to run tournaments. Two of the more popular tournaments that he's ever done was the Big Bucks tournament. We can see why. And the Valentine's Day tournament, which was popular for a number of years over at Country Lanes. But he wasn't happy with that. 1991, he reopened Colonial with a partner, Guido Passarella. You lose count to the amount of fundraisers this man has done, between the Boy Scouts, St. Jude's, Lions Club, among others. Today, he's in Las Vegas, Nevada, still involved in the game, but in a different capacity. He's working with a lot of the youngsters on the PBA Tour, Rhino Page, John Nolan, just to name a few. Come all the way back to be here tonight with us from his home in Las Vegas with his beautiful family. He's a guy you couldn't dislike if you wanted to. To know him is to love him. Please welcome Mikey Pellegrini.
Well, that's going to be hard to top, but I'll see what I can do. I'm really shy, you know. First of all, I'd like to thank the committee for this honor. I am totally humbled. Bowling has been a major part of my life. I've enjoyed and loved and cherished many of the experiences that surround this industry. I can recall spending many nights with my friends, which eventually led to being hired at the famous front desk at Country Lanes. I've met many people in my life and have shared many laughs with. In the early years, I got my children involved with bowling. Being an active parent, I traveled many weekends along the eastern seaboard, which gave my children to have many wonderful bowling memories. I also am very proud to be a part of various fundraisers, like we said, such groups as the Boy Scouts, the Lions Club, and closest to my heart, St. Jude's Children Research. I branched out from that bowling area to be sponsoring of many bowlers on the PBA Tour and on amateur levels. I've also enjoyed traveling around the country and watching my people on ESPN. And I spent time each weekend. I was on a Sunday. You'll see me on TV. They used the wide lens for me too. I'm the biggest show on TV. But I've also enjoyed sending people around the world. Also, I've had balls in Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Italy, Spain, and France, and they've been very successful over there. And 11 years ago, I made another move. We moved to Vegas, and I'm grateful to be part of working in a casino at Red Rock Station in Las Vegas, Nevada. And working there, I had to, oh boy, getting nervous. I was grateful to be part of the 50th anniversary of the PBA. It was really a great ceremony. Had 50 of the greatest pros there, including Johnny Petraglia, of course. It was great to have him there. Number 16 of all time. And it was really a great night. As I look around the room, I see so many people that affected my life, especially Ray and Naz. They're always there to advise me every time I had situations. But I'd like to thank Ray for also being part of that big bucks tournament, because he was the brainstorm with me. But that tournament was really great. It was a good tournament. A lot of people came out for that, and it was really very interesting. And my heart feels great that I remember opening Showplace back in 1987, which also Johnny Petraglia was kind enough for Mark Roth to do the grand opening with us. And that was also a great night. And I'm truly blessed with my life, and I'm thrilled that my boys Mikey and Larry are here, and my daughter-in-laws Sophia and Jill, and my mom Pauline's here also, and my Aunt Gail, Uncle Lloyd. Oops, I better not forget my lovely wife, Hallie. Otherwise, I'll be sleeping on the couch tonight. My girls couldn't be here tonight. I missed them, Paula and Maddie. They're home in Vegas. I wish they were here. But I want to say thank you again, and this has been a privilege and a blast being here. Thank you so much.
He's always been a humble guy with a man of few words. Okay, we have 2 presentations left to make, and they are for the Lifetime Achievement Award. So at this point in time, Donna will do one, and then I will do the final one of the evening.
This award is being given posthumously to a bowling great, a leader of the pack, Helen Dillon. Helen Dillon's name is synonymous with bowling, not only on the lanes with her superior performance, but also off the lanes with her dedication, leadership, enthusiasm, and organizational skills. Helen helped form many leagues on Staten Island. She also headed many of those leagues in the capacity of president or secretary-treasurer. Helen served on the board of directors of the Staten Island Women's Bowling Association for 12 years in the role of a director. She served on all of its committees, including legislative, policy and procedure, nominating, tournament, rules, budget and finance, just to name a few. She served as either the chairlady or as a member, adding all of her expertise, opinions, or advice to make these things better for women bowlers on Staten Island. Helen was a director on the Staten Island Women's 600 Bowling Club for over 25 years, taking on the role as president for 15 years. Her ideas and enthusiasm added to the club in the form of a championship jacket for each winner, both net and gross, at the annual singles tournament. This was in addition to the trophy and the monetary award. She wanted the Women's 600 Bowling Club to be seen and these champions to be recognized. To this day, we still award these jackets. Helen also was the one who talked to the members into not just paying and maintaining their membership, but participate. Her tenure her tenure at our annual tournament, during her tenure at our annual tournament at Showplace Bowling Center, had its largest amount of entries of 102. Believe that was approximately 15 years ago. No one could say no to Helen. No one could turn her down. She would remind them and remind them and remind them. Helen's skills on the lanes during the 60s, 70s, and 80s spoke for themselves. Averaging constantly in the 180s to 190s, Helen achieved many titles in the Staten Island Women's Bowling Association annual tournament. 1966, she won doubles net and gross with Marie DiGiovanni. She also won high series gross with a 667 and the 9-game gross with a 1792, excuse me. And that was at Sunset Lanes. 1969, she again won doubles net and gross with Marie DiGiovanni. 1975, she won team net with Doris Schaefer, Sharon Logan, Lil Rivoli, Karen Fernandez. 1977, she won doubles net with Doris Corcamelis. 1979, high series gross and 9-game gross. 1980, doubles net again with Doris Corcamelis, and that same year, team net, Dillon Enterprises. 1981, again, doubles net with Doris Corcamelis. Helen bowled a 299 and a 700 series during the early 1980s, when it was unheard of that a woman could achieve these feats. She was inducted into the Staten Island Women's Bowling Association Hall of Fame in 1975 for superior performance, and inducted into the Staten Island Inaugural Hall of Fame in 2000 at the Lane Theater. A no-finer leader, bowler, sportsman, always there cheering someone on to victory and congratulating them when they accomplished it, especially to get a new member into the 600 Club, a lady and a friend. This selfless dedication has been recognized with the honor of presenting her husband, Frank Dillon, with the Gloria Simonson Memorial Award for Lifetime Achievement for Helen in the sport of bowling. Frank?
After an introduction like that, what's for me to say? I'd just like to thank the committee and all of you who gave her this honor. Thank you very much.
Okay, we have one more induction to make, and then we're going to go around for the 50-50. We really want to get maximum participation from the 50-50, so please, everybody, be benevolent, be generous. Please understand that the Staten Island Bowler Hall of Fame relies upon this. All the committee members, believe it or not, we do not get paid, nor do we want to get paid. We still have the trophies we must pay for, journals, among other things. So please be generous with the 50-50 donations. Chico will be coming around, or Chico will be sending somebody around. So please. Okay, last and certainly not least, Lifetime Achievement Award. This man is already in the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame in 2003 for superior performance. He had a high league average of 223, high series of over 800, and 8 300 games bowled. Also the Empire State Games silver and bronze medalist. He placed 4th in National Mini Eliminator and 5th place High Roller Tournament in Vegas. But I think he's more known for what else he does. His New Year's Singles Classic is running 35 years. That tells you something right there. Because if it wasn't good, it wouldn't have lasted 35 years. He set the bar very, very high. The standards are next to none. And the fact that it's still here tells you he's consistent, so he's doing something right. He's a man of conviction. He believes what he does. He knows his rules are fair and equitable for everybody. So everybody should and does bowl in it. I could go on forever, but I'd really, really rather hear from him. Ladies and gentlemen, my friend, New Year's Singles Director, Jimmy Elliott.
Congratulations, sir.
Thanks again, Jim.
Yeah, a little something extra. First, I want to thank the committee. I got this letter in the mail, and it was from Joey Labargo. And then I saw Chico, and I saw Ray, and I saw Donnie. I said, are you sure you mailed this to the right person? And each one of the people involved said, definitely. We talked about it, and we thought that you are the deserving person for the Ben McNevich Award. Most of you people know me. I didn't know what to say. I mean, for me not to have something to say is a real problem. I'm in the same company with Don Labargo, Eddie Wilkinson, Billy Horner, Ray Larson, and whoever else has won this award in the last... Joey G? I forgot about Joey G. Oh, he's sleeping back there. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But it's a very funny thing. Ben McNevich, about 40 years ago, sounds like it is a long time ago, we took a team to Bowlmore to bowl on Wednesday night. The young guys, you know, we were in our early 20s. It was Legs, Jerry Frankmano, Joe Tusa, Matty. We took along Don Basile just for an old timer. And we had to bowl against some of these teams. One was Belmont Plaza, I think, and Don bowled on the team, Benny, many, Dick Batista. Johnny, I think you were on vacation in Southeast Asia at the time, so you couldn't be bowling. But we did great. These guys were 40 and 50 years old we were bowling against. 40. How could you believe you're going to be bowling when you're 40 years old? Even 50 years old. We were the strongest team in the league. We finished dead last. The most exciting thing about bowling at Bowlmore on Wednesday nights is looking out the window at the woman changing her clothes across the way. The older guys showed us that. But that's how I first got involved with Benny, and I think at that time he also he kept a little cigar in his mouth. Yeah. We can't believe how guys can bowl with hats on now, but he bowled with a stogie in his. But these guys were excellent, and of course he was one of the best. And as I said, we did finish last, but we had a good time bowling with those gentlemen. And now, ironically, it's just like 40-something years later, and I'm getting an award with that man's name on it. It's very humbling. The 35th annual tournament is going to start January 2nd. All right? See, I started when I was 4 years old running this tournament. I was very, very young at the time. Rab and it might have been Eddie also, we talked about it, just let's see if we can run this tournament on a Sunday night, see how it works out back in 1975 and so on, and we'll see how it worked out. I guess it did very well, because there's many bowlers that I know in here that, in fact, the two honorees, Bobby
and Mitch are both former champions of my tournament. So that's a way to get into the Hall of Fame. And it wasn't easy. Frankie Perello was still after Bobby Garzone for beating him that day. And he said if he ever says the wrong thing to him, Frank, am I right? You said that to me the other day. All right? But I congratulate them for getting in. I'm very proud. I'm looking around. Joey G was a finalist. Gene was a finalist. The two Wilkinson boys last year were finalists, right, D? And you didn't know which one to root for. You were there. You didn't know what to do. But this year we're looking for January 2nd. And like I said, the two inductees were former champions, and I congratulate them. You know, it's really great to receive this award. This game that we're involved in, look, I can't play softball anymore. I can't play basketball anymore, okay? Football, forget about that, a long time ago. But I can still bowl, and many of us can. And it's a game you can continue until you're 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And we should all be proud of that. It's a lot of fun, and I don't want to hear that, oh, it costs money. Everything costs money nowadays. So, and it's a lot of fun. I enjoy bowling. I enjoy bowling at Country. We have a good relationship there. The only negative thing about winning this award, it's a memorial award. And that's true of almost every award. I really wouldn't want this award, but I was given it. Nobody likes to get a memorial award because it's named after someone who's no longer with us. But I'm still very proud of it, and he was a great man, Benny McNevich. He did great things for Staten Island bowling, and I thank you all for coming.
Okay, we just want to remind everybody, 50-50, please, 50-50. We expect to see all of you next year, okay? We need this to grow for our children and our children's children. We need your help. If anybody knows of any possible candidates for the Bowling Hall of Fame, let Joey Labargo know, let Chico know, let me know, let Donna, whoever, let Lou Vigliotti know. Please, please. Okay, my final word for the night, and then I'm going to turn it over to our Vice President. My final word of the night is what I always end every telecast with. Go bowling, it makes you feel like you'd like to.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we end the evening, I just want to say a few words. One of the goals of our Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame is that I've had in my heart, the committee, and maybe some of the people out there, I get questions all the time. People say to me, well, you know, where is the Hall of Fame and what is this all about? So the 50-50, the journal that we do, and other sorts of fundraising type of activities is we're trying to secure a location to show prominently all the members of the Hall of Fame, which is not an easy thing to do. So reach into your pockets if you can. Tell other people. The second thing I want to mention is that people ask me all the time, well, how do you get involved? How do you select the candidates? Well, basically, most of it comes from you out there. So if you have anyone you think is deserving of the honor, let the committee know. The journal that you have right now has all the information as far as where you can contact us and phone numbers and the like. And the last thing I want to say, we're going to do the 50-50 in about 2 minutes. Don't everybody leave. All the honorees tonight, Mr. John Petraglia, Sharon Nastor, we want to take a photo for the local newspaper. They asked us, so don't leave. We're going to go to and get our photos taken here so we can show up prominently in the advance. And the last thing I want to say in closing that I'm the Vice President of Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame, and the President will always be Ralph Wilkinson. I will never take the title, and it's always going to be that way. And I just want to let you know that we're just trying to carry on the tradition of the Staten Island Bowling Hall of Fame. Okay, before I shut the microphone off, Johnny Petraglia would like to say a few words. Thank you all, and I really, really appreciate. This is a very, very good turnout, and thank you so much.
Thank you, John. Thanks. Thanks again for having me here. On Saturday the 14th at Showplace, as was mentioned before, Mark Roth had a massive stroke. He'll probably never walk again, but it's possible. There's going to be a pro-am for anybody who'd like to participate, and one of the top 50 bowling balls where Mark finished 5th all time, we have a 50 ball that will be there that Mark has signed. So there's only 50 of them, and there's about 40 of them have already been auctioned off or aren't in existence anymore with his signature on it, and one of them will be there. If anybody would like to go and bowl the tournament and help Mark out. And I'm going to, for 30 seconds, take one quick license here. You know, whenever any of you bowl an award score, I'm not asking you for any money, but if you've already bowled 300, if you've already thrown 11 in a row, if you already bowled 800, if you already shot 290, when you get the application, in the lower right-hand corner, you'll see BVL, that's Bowlers to Veterans link. If you don't take the award, the money goes to the vets. They need you more than ever. Please donate. Thank you.
By the way, we failed to, I know I said it was last thing, but I lied. We failed to mention how much money Johnny Petraglia has raised for the BVL, which is the Bowlers to Veterans link. All of this good stuff we sent, bowling stuff, bowling equipment to the veterans that are defending our way of life in Iraq, Afghanistan, wherever they might be. So he's very modest, he's very shy, but he does exhibitions all the time with wheelchair veterans, paralyzed veterans. So again, you don't hear that in his resume, but that's what Johnny Petraglia is all about. So Johnny, I thank you 100 million for being here tonight. Everybody, please, one final goodbye for Johnny Petraglia. It was successful, but it was a little more successful, Johnny, because you were here. And thank you for your courtesy, your professional, certainly all things good. Thank you. Okay, everybody, 50-50s, let's keep it going.